women in particular, we naturally do that, learn from one another.
It was just really funny with the credit event.
Yes, I was
going to
she
hosted a workshop recently about credit repair.
Oh, great.
And I so agree with what you're saying about everybody was kind of like reserved in the beginning and nobody wanted to talk about like credit history. It's it's embarrassing. It's like, and it got to the point where by the end of it, everybody was just like shamelessly asking questions. So like if I get a car repossessed and my credit's not the greatest and I just said what it was and people by the end of it were just
spilling their guts.
No one cared. Everybody was just asking questions. Yeah, it was amazing.
It was therapeutic. I was there, and I was one of the ones that was like, so. Yeah. And just out in the open, everyone now knows that this is on my credit.
Yeah, it's like I have 18 things on my credit history. How come some of them are there and some are not mine? And like it was like somebody else might have had that question. Right. And he was able to tell me that it was like repeat duplicates. I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy.
That's so
it was
great.
relieving.
It was, and and of course it was around food. People tend to relax.
Bring food.
Yeah, food. And so it was, brunch with the finance bunch, and we
like by the end of it, we were all in tears and holding
and
hands.
hugging and everything.
That's the best.
Exactly, but what it showed, and we had people from all different walks of life, all different economic levels. So, it really doesn't have anything to do with, and that's the thing that I like to communicate, is it has nothing to do with your financial status. How much money you have or don't have. Because you and I have both seen people who are very wealthy, who live paycheck to paycheck, and people who think that they are at the beginning of the economic, spectrum, and they know how to save money, and they have excellent credit. And I know professionals who you look to and admire who have horrible credit, who live paycheck to paycheck and, barely pay their bills on time, or they're late all the time. And it's, it's not how much money you make. It's really training you how to make the best of the money that you have, and not to feel shame or, disgrace because, if you've made mistakes or there was a situation in your life that prompted something to happen that was negative. It's about fixing it. Everything. Well, I think the biggest thing we learned from that credit repair workshop is that everything can be taken care of. Everything can be repaired.
Everything.
Isn't that amazing?
It's almost like when people avoid the hospital or doctor, they know something's wrong with them. They're just so scared that it's worse or whatever. Once you know what it is, you can assess it from there and move forward.
We can help fix it. The first step is to admitting that there's a challenge. The second step is to allowing someone to see it and help you with it, and getting past it. That's the easy part. It's opening up and finding the roadmap to getting there. That's the challenge, because we so hold on to things.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like that's where the power comes back to you.
Right.
You take power back in your own hands and you say, I'm now ready to face this, get it out in the open.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, it's never as bad as we think it is. I mean, and I think that it's so great that you're doing these credit events, because there's so many misconceptions out there about credit and the credit score. And I teach people all the time. Even my assistant the other day, the bank straight out lied to her about credit scores. And they, said basically, if you want to take this credit card, a good idea is to leave a balance and not pay it off in full every month, because that helps improve your credit score. And I said, are you kidding me? This is like a straight up lie, But there's so much false information just being passed around. And I think when we could finally sit down and just say, what are the facts here? Right. Let me be brave enough to ask the question to get the right facts.
And you'll see that everyone sitting in the room is relieved that you asked that question. Oh, good. I had that question too.
Thank God.
Well, and it makes things less scary, because I have student loans and I haven't defaulted on them, and I'm certainly not planning on defaulting on them. But me having student loans is to me, I can say personally, and this is a little transparent, but is one of the scariest things in my life right now. The fact that I have student loans.
Yeah.
And
you're not alone.
Yeah. Right. And I'm not alone. And at the credit repair, at the credit workshop, one of the things that he explained was how to recover if you do default. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know it was possible. So now all of a sudden student loans isn't the big monster that I thought it was.
Right? Yay! Imagine the student loan monsters squash that monster.
Squash that monster.
It's so true. And there's tons of resources out there actually. So once you like take the monster out, then you get exposed to, oh, look at all these options that,
Exactly.
oh, I could do this, I could do that. I mean, even me, I'm constantly learning new creative solutions coming to the table. And one of them in particular with the student loan, SoFi.com, www.sofi.com, is so great. It just helps people pay off student loans. There's tons of things like that out there.
Yeah, and you don't even begin to see them because you're so blinded by the fear of this huge monster called student loan debt, and that it'll follow you to your grave. That is a horrible statement.
Yeah.
Because it's just this big scary monster that everybody's like, oh my God, I'll never get, past it.
Yeah.
And it's not true. You can get past it. You can make those payments. You can get to a space where it's not taking over your life.
It's really interesting because what were you saying about like your emotional self? When you go back and you look at your childhood, you see all the things that like, oh, that's why I do this. Like you think of the negative memories, but the first thing I thought of was a good memory of just basically, people have always told me I could sell ice to an Eskimo, and I didn't see that. And the first thing that popped in my head was me and my two sisters. We went around our neighborhood as children and sorry to whoever I did this to, but we cut people's flowers out of their garden and then sold them back to the neighborhood.
Nice.
And we sold this family back their roses. They bought their roses that we cut from their rose bush, and it didn't even have a stem. We just like handed them roses and they bought it from us. And I was like, oh, I guess like I also have a strength in financial areas where I didn't think that I could. Like looking back.
That's such a great memory. Yeah, because not all of them are negative.
That's
we
right.
just,
and I do
we
have
just
those
tend
too,
to hold on to the negative ones with so much power.
Exactly.
That we forget all the positive ones. Like, oh, making money is really easy, actually.
Exactly.
If I just get creative with it, I can always make money.
Exactly.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of memories.
This is
right
like
now.
such a good one. Yeah. It's a great activity, right? The money store activity is awesome.
Exactly. So I like that. And the exercises you have people do is freeing.
Yes.
It's so freeing because then they realize, like, wait a minute, okay, that's why I'm attached to this emotion when it comes to this, or I don't save because of this that happened in my past, or you just free them.
Well, you talking about the financial personality and how it's not just the experience, but it's how you interpret it and how you react to it. And you two know well, like, of course, my parents gave us a lot of the me and my brother, a lot of the tools and a lot of the information that we need, but I'm the rebel, of course, and I'm the one that had to do everything different than what they said, and my brother followed their advice. And so it just, now it's like, I'm not crazy, it's just my personality and the way that I am, and I just have to see that for what it is and remember that when I'm making decisions in the future.
Nice.
Exactly. And I think everyone's experience winds up, if you, like I said, if the light bulb comes on, once you take hold of it and say, okay, this is my experience, but this is also how I may at some point be able to help someone else. Because, that's my story. I was a shopaholic. I could buy 100 pair of shoes and never be satisfied. When I worked in New York, I worked on Wall Street, and I worked for Merrill Lynch, and it literally, you could walk through Century, the store, to get to the train station. And Century had every designer anything at a discount price. And I walked through there every day and I bought something, if not every day, 2 to 3 times a week. And I was happy shopping. I was not, I didn't feel like shame or guilt about my shopping. I loved it. But at the end of that, what did I have to show for it? A bunch of clothes that I never wore or wore one time and discarded, a bunch of shoes that I wore maybe once or twice. I still had my 5 favorite pair of shoes that I wore all the time, And so when you think about that, you think, well, why am I doing this? I'm visually entertained. That's why I was doing it, and once the entertainment went away, so did the need for the item, right? Yeah. And when you can associate why you do things, it helps. And so what I did was I said, okay, why is it so easy for me to spend money?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, because I can slide a card or write a check. I'm not physically handing them my dollars and cents, right? So I noticed that when I used cash, I spent less money. So I conditioned myself to only carry cash and only use cash for what I wanted. So counting off $200 for that pair of shoes
is a lot easier than
it's harder to do than swiping that card, because now you're looking at those shoes and saying, do I really like them this much? As you're counting it out, like, do I really like them to this much money go away? You know, and so that's kind of how I trained myself and stopped myself from making those horrible decisions that I was making and only really being visually entertained. So go visit the shoes instead of buying them, you know, because you're only entertained by them for that, at least me, for that moment in most cases, or, you know, leave them there. And if you're supposed to have them, or if they stay on your mind, come back and buy them, you know. So those were some of the tools I used. And I noticed that as women, and the women that I work with sometimes too, that story is helpful, because they're like, oh yeah, you know, and it's even easier now because we can go online in the middle of the night and just shop till we drop, right? So, you know, you have to do what you need to do to make your emotion around money applicable and personal to you. And so what I love about what you do is you help people find their story and bring it to fruition and then learn from that.
Thank you. Yeah. And there's so many gems in what you just shared. I'm just like, yes.
She's just
talking. Really, so many gems, because it is just everybody has their own stuff with money, whatever it is. And, you know, getting clear not only helps you, but hopefully it can help other people as well. Yeah, the whole way we use money these days is so interesting. I always tell, you know, clients with kids, take them to the bank, give them cash, show them what it means to use cash, because now everything's just like Venmo or Click. You know, I don't even think kids have an idea of the concept of work cash. For money we use for life. Right. I mean, there's no cash tangibly being passed. And another tip I have for clients, you know, is to calculate the time of their money. I mean, calculate how much they make per hour, basically, right? I don't know what I was saying. How much they make per hour, and then they use that and say, oh, is this worth it? Is this worth that many hours of work right now? Yes. So if you made $20 an hour and you want to buy $200 shoes, is this worth 10 hours of my work day that I work so hard? You know, is it worth it? And if it is, cool, go for it. But now you're just making more conscious decisions for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's swiping that card. You know, so if someone wants to get in contact with you, what do they need to do to contact you?
Yes, come contact me. I love it. Come over to financiallywisewomen.com, www.financiallywisewomen.com. You'll see all my stuff there, all my social media sites. Email me. There's the Work With Me page where you can easily fill out the forms to request time to talk with me, whether it's about one-on-one planning or maybe you want to like learn more about my online money class or attend an upcoming workshop or event. Filling out one of those forms is always the best way. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Brittney Castro. I'm out there. And check out the rap video, because I can't leave without plugging the rap video.
That rap video is awesome. It really is. Please check out her rap video.
It is for fun. Hopefully it brightens your day.
Yes, and that's what it's meant for. It's educational, and it helps to educate a person. And whatever your form of learning is, know that however you receive information, know that it's the right way to receive information. Anything that will help elevate you to where you're trying to go is the right way to go. So don't be boxed in by thinking that there's only one traditional way to learn something or to be successful, because it's not. Usually the way you learn and the way you are, others will follow you because that's your tribe. And so I applaud you for stepping out and creating a venue for your tribe, because there's so many young women and women of all ages that need the financial information that you're giving them, because women outlive men. And, you know, at the end of the time, like you said, Elizabeth, you don't want to be thinking of a man as your only financial security. That's not fair to you, and it's not fair to him. You know, you have to, as a woman, as a person, figure it out for yourself. And here's a vehicle to do it. So we love, and we were so anticipating having you on.
Thank you.
And you have to promise us you'll come back and see us again.
I would love to come back. Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. I love everyone. I don't want to leave.
We love you.
And I just have to just say thank you so much to you for doing this and creating this for women and listeners everywhere. So thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Well, thank you. Yay. Yeah. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. This is Miss Charline, and we had Brittney Castro, and you heard her. She's coming back to see us again. But in the meantime, please check out her videos. Go to her website, go to her YouTube, check it out, and most of all, check out that video. It is awesome.
Yes.
Made it rain in it.
Made it rain. Yes, she did.